Hey guys, welcome to my Let's Play of Kirby's Adventure. So, we are going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new file. As you can see, I already had one started there. I had to actually kind of do some re-recording at the beginning here. Let's go ahead and get started with Level 1, Vegetable Valley. So, despite this being the second ever Kirby game that was released, this was actually not one of my first Kirby experiences. And really quick, as you can see, this is actually the main hub world, but we're going to go ahead and start it with Level 1 of Vegetable Valley. But yeah, as I was saying, this was not one of my first Kirby experiences, and not one of my first Kirby games. My first Kirby game ever played was Kirby 64, actually. I mainly grew up playing, I did play a lot of Super Nintendo and a few games on the original Nintendo Entertainment System. But Kirby's Adventure was actually not one of those games. I was not introduced to Kirby until Kirby 64, but later on I decided to kind of explore some more retro games that I never really got into, and this game was one of them that I just really kind of grew an attachment to very quickly. And I don't know if it's just the cuteness of the little puff ball, or if it was just so many different abilities that you're able to obtain throughout the game, but something about this game just really kind of rubbed off on me in a way where I just wanted to explore each different level. As you can see here, we have the end of the level. This is kind of what it looks like at the end of every level. So you basically get to jump for additional points added to your score. The score doesn't necessarily affect any of the gameplay, but it's kind of nice to see that number go higher. So this is the Crane Fever game. This is an opportunity where you can actually earn additional extra lives, an extra 1-up. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can maybe pull this off. I practiced playing through this game a couple of times, and I actually did really well in this game. So let's see if we can do the same here. As you can see, we have, so basically what you have here in the Crane game is you have one small Kirby, and then you have usually one large Kirby. The small Kirby is going to be worth 1 additional extra life. The large Kirby is going to hold 2 additional lives per large Kirby. So as you can see, we got the small one. Let's see if we can go for the large one. This guy's shaking a little bit. I didn't think he was going to hold. Oh well, at least we got one of them. But yeah, I actually had to re-record this game. I recorded the entire game, playing through the entire game once, and then had to re-record because of I had the wrong setting on my capture card and did not realize it until I got through the end of the game and was like, oh crap, I have to go back and redo the whole thing. Which I don't mind because I love playing this game, and it had been actually many years since I've actually revisited this game, so it was kind of nice to go back through and play it again. But yeah, anyways, this game, again, like I said, I was introduced to this kind of later on, much later after it was released, but such a good game. There are 25 abilities in total that you get just from swallowing and devouring different enemies. And as you can see, we have our first mini boss here. So we're gonna go ahead and take this guy on. This guy's there's really not too much to this guy. He's pretty simple as long as you just stay really in one spot in the middle of the map there. He kind of just jumps over your head from left to right, so as long as you stay in the middle, you should not have much issue taking this guy down. So what you just want to do is swallow his bombs that he throws at you and then spit them back at him, and he will go down pretty quick. As you can see, we just took him down. So nothing too crazy, so especially for the first level. There's really not a lot of difficulty. Really, this game is pretty easy for the most part. It's pretty straightforward. But we're also going to be doing, I'll go ahead and show this off. This is a crash ability. It's actually kind of nice because, as you can see, it takes out all the enemies on the screen at the same time, which is really nice to be able to clear your path. But what I'm going to be doing in this game is not only am I going to play from, of course, the start to the end of the game, but I'm going to actually attempt to 100% this game, or I'm going to 100% this game. And what you actually have to do in order to do that is there's hidden switches throughout the game that we are going to be finding as well. So there's hidden switches throughout various levels. We don't actually encounter our first hidden switch until a little later on actually in the game. But once we get there, I will begin showing all of those. because that is actually one of the requirements to 100% the game is to find all the hidden switches, in addition to, of course, playing through all the way to the final end level and the final boss. But yeah, like I said, these first few levels, there's really not a lot to them, and as you can see, we have another, looks like the end of the level area right there, so we're gonna go ahead and get this guy. I think the beam ability is probably one of my favorites. It allows you to cast beams at enemies and break various objects in your way, which is very nice. And nice, looks like we went ahead and got to this number 2 there, and we're moving on. So yeah, there's really nothing left to say about the first level, Vegetable Valley. Just traveling through the different stages, going through the different doors is just so, I don't know, there's something like fulfilling and rewarding about this. But let's go ahead and move on here. As you see, we have some mushroom guys there. We have some cannons that will shoot at us. These guys will kind of reoccur throughout the game quite frequently. But as you can see, if you just kind of glide and fly, use Kirby's flying ability over there, the top of them, you'll be able to kind of avoid them pretty quick. But yeah, I would say probably the beam and the sword abilities are my 2 favorite abilities in the game, just because they're so useful. They have a good range of attack for taking out enemies pretty quick. So I usually kind of stick with those if I'm able to, but we're going to go ahead and see if we can actually get this one and show this one off as well. So this is the fireball ability, which as you can see, basically Kirby just transforms into a nice little fireball, and if you don't get hit like I did just there, you'll be able to kind of breeze through and blast through enemies pretty quickly. Just being able to kind of learn the controls of the abilities is the main thing, and this is the fire ability. So similar to the fireball, we spit fire, but instead of turning into a fireball, we just kind of have like a flamethrower type of move there. So but yeah, this game, I love the level design of this game, and then that's another reason why I was so drawn to this game when I was actually first introduced to it recently, because it just has it's so colorful. It just looks like you're playing in like a color book, or like a painting. Like there's even the landscapes. I mean, this was released on the NES. I mean, that was like the mid 90s. I mean, that was not like a time where we had a bunch of games that had so much detail in the graphics and the landscapes and the worlds and levels, and this game just kind of brought it, kind of brought that to life. So as you can see, we did reach the number 1 spot, so we get a 1-up. So if you are able to jump up to that number 1, you'll get another extra life, which is nice as well. Which is kind of nice. Getting extra lives in this game's pretty easy. But this is the museum. Here's a color display of enemies, special abilities. So basically this is going to have just enemies, various random enemies where you can basically just you're given free abilities in these areas. So they will pop up, I think, in most of the levels. So if you kind of check them out in each level, there'll be a different one in each one. But now we're moving on. This is actually the final stage of level 1, so we're going to go ahead and see if we can get through this pretty quick. And as you can see, we have another mini-boss here. And this guy is Mr. Frosty. Mr. Frosty is pretty simple. What he's going to do is he's going to chuck ice cubes at you, and as you can see, we've already taken him down. You just want to swallow the ice cube, spit him back at him, and then you can take his ability, which is the freeze ability, which is another ability that I haven't explained yet. So basically, as you can see, you are just able to freeze the enemies. Not really a lot to explain, but what I want to do is I kind of want to go through the abilities as many as I can, or show off as many as I can on the game on my playthrough. There are 25 abilities that Kirby can use in the game that you get from various enemies, so I'll just try my best to show off as many as I can. I'm probably not going to aim to get all of them or show all of them off, but as many as I possibly can is the goal. But yes, this is pretty, again, a nice level design. We're this time climbing up a tree, the inside of a tree, and we blew up an exit. But yeah, kind of going back to what I was talking about with the level design. Okay, and this is Meta Knight. He'll throw you randomly a invincible candy, which allows you to basically use, it's basically the Kirby version of the star, if you're playing like Mario. But for Kirby, it's invincibility candy, so it has the same effect. You're invincible, no enemies can touch you until it wears off, like it just did there for me. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get through the end of the last level, or the last stage, I should say, of level 1. And nice, we have another extra life from that jump. I love that sound. Alright, so now we have unlocked the boss stage. So the boss stage is going to have a picture of King DDD over the door, which doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be fighting him, but we are going to be fighting our first boss. As we jump down here, we have our first boss, and this guy is called Wispy Woods. So basically, I have if you have an ability like I do, he'll be able to take this guy down within literal seconds. What you're supposed to do is those falling apples coming down, you're supposed to swallow them and spit them back at him, but since we have the ability, we took him out pretty quick. But I will actually see you guys in the next episode when we take on level 2.